There's nobody who is qualified to be called excellence here. Where somebody thinks because he's elected a governor or House of Assembly member, and wrongly they call him His Excellency, he now becomes a lord unto himself. Let me tell you, you know what His Excellency means? It's an exemplary life. And if you see the president in America become sick, he goes to an ordinary hospital. If you see the prime minister in Britain become sick, he goes to an ordinary hospital. Because they are people of conscience. But here, our national hospital is collapsing. The equipment is going down. The budget this year for it is less than 2 billion. But the budget to keep a particular building where the occupants don't go to hospital here is costing us 20-something billion naira. Because we don't have conscience and people of competence, we don't have a national library. Every country of the world have a national library. Nigeria as a country does not have a national library. Our budget this year for our national library is 980 million naira. But the budget of National Assembly Library is 15 billion. Because we have no conscience. We are not developed. Because of it, we're not doing well. The measure of development is what they call Human Development Index. And three things. That's measure of development. And three things drives it. Health, education, and pulling people out of poverty. But of these three, education is the most critical. So countries are doing better than us today because they invested in education. And you can see it everywhere. You might be looking at it, oh, but we're in Nigeria. Other people did not do this and everything. Those who are leading the world today are educated in their country. Today you have every reason to celebrate. It's the opportunity of passing through this wonderful institution where you have been taught what Father has said, conscience. Conscience. Conscience is a critical component of your character because it's that who makes you to ask yourself questions. Whenever you want to do anything, you ask yourself, is this right? Is it wrong? That's what conscience is about. Am I doing the right thing? Because like the famous Socrates has said, unexamined life is not worth living. That is your conscience. That is what makes you who you are. It's talking about compassion. Am I doing the right thing? What am I doing? Is it favoring student? Somebody asked me a question this morning. When I came in here, they put a seat in front of these young people. You must have seen the big seat here that was when I came in here. And I said they should remove the seat. That we'll all have to sit together. And one of your students asked me, why did I want that seat removed? First he said, this seat we are sitting is not strong enough. I said, but you're sitting on it. If he can carry you, will carry me. I said, so why do you have to give up that your luxury seat and sit with us? And I said, it's just to show you that we are all the same. None of us here, including our dear father in faith, eat different food. He doesn't eat from different place. Let me even tell you, you might think you work hard now and there's something you're missing. And you work so hard to acquire wealth. acquire success in your life, shockingly, when you acquire success in life, is when the doctors tell you not to eat anything again. All those things you aspire to eat, if you say this, they say, oh, it's not good. This one is not good. This one is not good. You find yourself returning to eating grass. Because that's the only thing that is good for your health. So it is to show that we are the same thing. Is this demarcation we have in our society that is affecting us today? Where somebody thinks because he's elected a governor or House of Assembly member, and wrongly they call him His Excellency, he now becomes a lord unto himself. Let me tell you, you know what His Excellency means? You asked young people, when you get your mark, you see good, best, excellent. Am I right? Excellency means an exemplary life you can live. And if you say it, I can tell you categorically, you can write it down, say, oh, there's nobody who is qualified to be called excellency here. It's an exemplary life. And that is what you are aspiring to be. To be excellent is to make sure you do the right things. You care for the society. You care for this. A Rise interviewer asked me now, what do you think about the education? Can government do more to educate people? I said, no. Education is not a social welfare. Education is not an expense. It's an investment. You wouldn't know how your parents feel today having invested in you. That's how Nigeria would have felt if we have invested in education. Investing in you is critical. Our country today is underdeveloped because we have not invested in education. The more a country invests in education, the more developed the country is. We have not invested, we are not developed. Because of it, we're not doing well. The measure of development is what they call Human Development Index. And three things, that's measure of development. And three things drives it: health, education, and pulling people out of poverty. But of these three, education is the most critical. So countries are doing better than us today because they invested in education. And you can see it everywhere. You might be looking at it, oh, but we're in Nigeria. Other people did not do this and everything. Those who are leading the world today are educated in their country. And I can tell you where you are now in this school. You are actually in a better school than most people who are overseas. When I finished in Christ the King College, I can tell you that because I've been there. When I finished in Christ the King College, I went to Nsukka. And I said to myself, I want to know whether these people who are in a better school, there's something different with their brain. That has taken me today to pass through Columbia University, Harvard University, Cambridge, Oxford, Kellogg. And why did I do this? And it will shock you. Whenever I go to any of them, I found out we are better. Whenever I go to any of them, just last night, I told somebody experience, last night in this Port Harcourt, I told somebody my experience that in Nsukka, I find it very difficult to have everything I needed as a student. I was shocked that in one of the best schools, first schools that I went to in America, that for 1 week, we had a very good buffet, ice cream, wine, everything. So I didn't know that all those things were included in my fees because I've paid. So whenever I go to eat, I just take a little thing and go. An American friend of mine asked me, said, Peter, you don't like wine, you don't like ice cream, you don't like... And I said, no, because I didn't want to pay additional money. And then he told me, he said, but these are what you have already paid. Why don't you enjoy them? And I said, my God, why did I've lost 1 week then. I haven't eaten for 1 week. So you can imagine what happened in subsequent weeks. I had to cover up. But, what am I saying this? These are things we did not see here. So, if they are brought in our environment, they will all fail. But we succeeded. But what does that tell you? When you now start your life, look at what your parents have suffered. Some of them, I can tell you, deprive themselves of everything to make sure that you pass through here. That conscience will make you think about them. We are looking at stars. You people are the ones that are going to change Nigeria. We wasted everybody's generation. We wasted everybody's time. You are the ones that are going to change Nigeria. You are the ones that are going to make it work. And it is important that you know, when we talk about competence, you are the one that is competent. You are the one that is properly educated to have the competence to drive that process, to be able to think, where are we going? Are we measuring what we're doing? You are the ones who say, this is wrong. This is right. On Wednesday, I'm going to give you life experiences of what is going on. Today, India runs virtually everything in the world in terms of sciences, in terms of Syrian company in India produces the world's highest vaccine, but it will shock you that in this country, 1948, we built one of the greatest vaccine companies in the world in 1948. That's what we used to fight smallpox, chickenpox, everything. In 1991, people who are leaders like me, out of wickedness, decided we need to refurbish it, shut it down, and we paid over $50 million to buy equipment. That equipment is still the way it came to Nigeria. And it's not refurbished because they don't have conscience. Today in Nigeria, we have a situation where our teaching hospitals are collapsing. Our national hospital is collapsing. If you see the president in America become sick, he goes to an ordinary hospital. If you see the prime minister in Britain become sick, he goes to an ordinary hospital. Because they are people of conscience. But here, our national hospital is collapsing. The equipment is going down. The budget this year for it is less than $2 billion. But the budget to keep a particular building where the occupants don't go to hospital here is costing us 20-something billion naira. Because we don't have conscience and people of competence, we don't have a national library. Every country of the world have a national library. Nigeria as a country does not have a national library. Our budget this year for our national library is 980 million naira. But the budget of National Assembly Library is 15 billion. Because we have no conscience. I want you to go out today here feeling that I will believe in those seeds Father I've mentioned. Starting with conscience. Because it pricks you. Conscience that what I'm doing must be right. Conscience that I must do please my parents. Conscience that I must be part of building a better society. Conscience that what we are going to see. I want you to go out here with compassion, feeling for the society, feeling for humanity, working hard to become productive. That this society, what I'm going to do, is going to make the society work. You're all competent. You've had basic education. That's all you need. With this level of education, you can go to places. You going to university is very good. It's excellent. It's something you need to do. But I can tell you that even if you stop here, you can change the world. Even if you stop here, you can change the world.